And I know Dave Lissenberg is up here from Catholic Charities, getting ready to introduce our speaker. So what we're going to do is eavesdrop a little bit and bring you Pat McNamara's talk from Catholic Business Network.
So for those of you that do this, I plan what I'm going to say. I think I say what I'm going to say, and then I sit down and think, did I really say that? Or did I forget to say what I was going to say? So prayers are always welcome. Thank you very much. So I am greatly honored to introduce our speaker this morning, Mr. Pat McNamara. Pat comes from our own Catholic community here in Toledo. He is the president of Archbold Furniture Company, which is a family-run business focused on Catholic faith. Look forward to hearing more about that as Pat talks, which is one of the top U.S. manufacturers of solid wood furniture. Pat and his wife, Patty, started dating in high school. That's pretty cool. And have been married for 34 years. They have 5 children and 4 grandchildren. They're members of St. Joan of Arc Parish here in Toledo, and they support and participate in many Catholic programs throughout the diocese, including as sponsors of our Catholic Business Network. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a rousing Catholic Business Network welcome to our speaker, Mr. Pat McNamara.
Thank you. Thank you. The dumbest thing I ever heard. Keep your faith out of the workplace. I was actually guilty of this up to 5 years ago. But thanks to programs like Catholic Business Network, completely transformed my perspective. Graduating from the University of Toledo in 1990, anybody coming out of manufacturing about that time, the big buzzword, total quality management. Lots of meetings. We had meetings about meetings. And while we were in meetings in manufacturing, the Japanese kicked our butts. So then it became, let's do it like the Japanese. Then we got into lean manufacturing with just-in-time inventory driven by MRP. The Kanban. Let's do it the Toyota way. ERP, EOS, SAP. All of these are great programs that companies got so much more efficient and made a lot of money with. But they were all missing one key element, the Christian leadership advantage. Why not utilize your greatest asset to ensure success? This morning, I'm going to talk on 3 topics. We got surround yourself with great Christians. Culture is what determines success, and Christianity is universal. So I got a jump start on the first one. 6 years of dating, 34 years of marriage. Many of you know Patty. I'm married to a very faith-filled Catholic. Always doing things for others. Patty and I started coming to Catholic business. We were at the very first ones we attended, and we've had some incredible speakers. One of the first ones we had is our great bishop. Bishop Daniel Thomas gave this wonderful talk on servant leader and how to utilize being a servant leader at work, at home, and throughout the community. For myself, I see Bishop Thomas as one of the greatest examples of a true servant leader. The next one that we came to was Father Nathan Cromley, talking about Christian leadership advantage and faith in the workplace. I was sitting next to Joe Sweeney, and he says to me, at the end of the presentation, he says, Pat, do you know Father Nathan? Because you were smiling and nodding through the entire thing. I said, Joe, I don't, but gosh, I wish I did. But, thank you to Catholic Business Network, the presenters. You brought us Father Jeff Rhodes, Peter Range. Who has more passion than Peter? I'm not exactly what your topic was, but I'm sure it was be vigilant and faith in everything you do. So I wanted to run through a wall, you know. We had Father John Ricardo, Pete Burek, some great ones. And then how about that Christmas message that we got from our very own Dave Vasquez? And, you know, Dave's not able to be here today. Prayers to Dave and his brother Joe and his entire family. So thank you to Catholic Business Network. The next up, it's on your table, is Aaron Bear. You don't miss that. There's a gentleman who has done so much for the Christian community throughout Ohio. So Catholic Business Network, Dave, listen to your team. Rodney Schuster, Catholic Charities. But also, Dave referred to it. Let's give a hand to the couple that started this in their car dealership and have been supportive from day one. Let's give a hand to Rich and Connie Cronin. At the time of Catholic Business Network that we started coming here, Patty and I, we also joined a group called Legatus. It's a group of Catholic business leaders that make a commitment to follow the mission, to study, live, and spread your Catholic faith in all spheres of life, business and professional. And then through Legatus, we each joined a forum. We're in a forum. Imagine this, how blessed of surrounding yourself with great people. Once a month, for 2 hours, I get to meet with 8 incredible Christians, and we talk about our faith, our family, and our business. Northwest Ohio is so fortunate with all the different programs that we have. Right here on your table, you're going to see a list of all the different Catholic charities. I'm sorry, I got my motion back here, my clicker's back there. But on your table is all of the different programs. We were at an event and somebody starts saying everything that Catholic Charities and Rodney Schuster does. And I was floored with all these incredible programs. I mean, who knew? But if you go down it, look and see what intrigues you. Get involved. You will be surrounded by some great Christians. 3 other programs I want to mention. Live Jesus Ministry. You know, this is started up by the Oblates and John Travick, where it's for the teens. The teens where they're going to develop they have a structure where they're training and they're providing the resources for a spiritual mentorship program. Then you go to the next stage, and Matt, you did a great job. At 22 to 35. If you're 22 to 35, or you have employees, family, get them involved. Then right before Christmas, I participated in an Acts retreat. Oh, you know, that's not for me. I can't think of a single person that wouldn't help. A weekend full of fellowship with 30 to 35 great Christians. So we're going to nice programs. We're surrounded by incredible Christians. What triggered things? The time to put faith into action. Patty and I were out to dinner with the Cronins about 4 years ago, and they're telling us how they brought Father Adam Hertzfeld in to bless the dealership. You know, Rich is laughing. He's throwing water everywhere. You know. Then during Lent, Fridays during Lent, during the day, they have prayer services. Greg, you and Steph, you know, Schleeters, have had numerous programs at their dealership. And this isn't where, okay, it's nighttime. Let's let it get dark. Let's turn the lights down, sneak people, have them park around back, sneak in, go down the basement. They did it right in their main showroom. It was incredible. What role models they are for all of us. So I'm going to work that week, and we're in the process of bringing on a new controller. And it's faith into action, faith into action. We're going through some tough times. That's number one. I hire CLA to help me recruit somebody, and we have a call about what are our needs. They scheduled an hour-long call. It lasted about 3 minutes. I said, I need a qualified controller, but the key is that they're willing to make every decision based on their Christian values. And there was some pushback, some hesitation, some questioning of that, but kudos to them, they went forward. I had a gentleman who wasn't even looking for a job, was intrigued, came over. He's been on our leadership team now for 4 years. He's a great Christian, huge part of our company. Some other great hires. Brought on my son Logan, who one day will take over the business. Our daughter Kerrigan, who's here with the one baby here today. She's our e-commerce specialist. Her husband is a part of our leadership team, Evan Gardner, a very talented mechanical engineer. And I also brought on a nephew, Keegan Savage, right out of Dayton. And the idea was, I can get these 4 people to follow this mission. Everyone else might think I'm crazy, but I can force them. But there's 2 other very significant hires to this commitment to a Christian culture. I hired Danny McCartney, right out of Franciscan. Put him on the hip of our vice president, who taught him our business and taught him the selling process. 5 years later, Danny, by his customers, is considered one of the best salespeople in the furniture industry because he cares about his customers. Another great hire. I brought on Dylan Kelly. We didn't have a position. He's right back there now. He's now my clicker. But brought Dylan on. We had no idea what he was going to do. First 6 months were over. But then he settled in the fact that now he's our lead purchaser. All I knew about him is he was on the leadership team of YCP, graduate of Franciscan, and from an incredible family. So some of you out there that might be hiring in HR, you think, well, Franciscan for business? Yeah. Why not? Why not start with a intelligent, respectful, rock solid Christian? It's a great investment. So surround yourself with great Christians, and you will be surprised how many dilemmas go away. And I sleep better at night. So culture. Second topic. Culture determines success. In 2020, we were going through, like so many other companies, we were going through some very difficult times. We got shut down for 6 weeks. When we opened back up, nobody was ordering, and nobody was paying for what they had ordered before. When things finally came back on, we went ahead and the supply channels then got shut down. And talk about a very stressful time. And this as well is where we hit a point where I just pulled all the employees together. And I'm 100% on board with this new vision. And it was kind of as they're all coming together, I'm just kind of like, come Holy Spirit, come Holy, give me something. And I say that, I know we're going through very difficult times, and I can't tell you what the future holds. But as a family-run business, I will guarantee you this. Our family and our leadership team will always put others first as servant leaders while protecting you and your families. But we must do this together. So when companies are going through difficult times, she'll often bring in a consultant. We got to restructure, or we got to navigate during these difficult times. I brought in a priest, Father Nathan Cromley, who I heard for the first time here speak on Christian Leadership Advantage and bringing faith in. Our first meeting it was just the leadership team, and we talked about the 6 principles of Catholic business. And we quickly concluded with him that our leadership team's already there. What we need to do is we need to get all the employees on board. So we put a plan together. Father Nathan comes back 6 months later. We do Mass in the conference room. All employees are invited. And this time we got about 50, 60 employees. They're all invited. We had about 8 8 or 9 show up. They were on the clock. 8 or 9 show up. Probably 4 or 5 of them were our family. So then he's going to, we're going to do what the Cronins did. We're going to bless the building. We have a 165,000 square foot facility, and he's got to get to all corners. So imagine this, and those of you that know Father Nathan, and this is back when he dressed like a monk. Right? Walking through the factory with all these employees, he's got the Bible, he's got his holy water, he's got a crucifix, and he walks right up to the front of one of our assembly lines, and everybody starts kind of glancing over at him. He's got that big old Father Nathan smile. Hi, everybody. And jaws just dropped. Then we went ahead and we tortured him a little bit more. We brought him we split the company into 6 groups. And everybody came up and they're going to get 1 hour with Father Nathan in groups. And as they're walking in the room, you can see that slow down, skeptical shuttle of, I got to find a chair far away from Padre. They're looking. But he immediately relaxes everybody, gets them laughing. And I'm not here to convert anybody, he says. But then he asks a question. I understand that you often hear Pat say family-run business, Christian values. What does he mean by that? All eyes hit the floor. He goes ahead and says, well, in talking with the family and the leadership team, when you are part of our team and you come through that door, we want you to know how much you're appreciated. And the leadership team is going to do everything we can to set up an environment that provides, we're going to protect you, we're going to support you, and we're going to set each and every one of you up to succeed. But a key to this working is the family needs you to do the same for fellow employees. So then he really dumbs it down. And he starts talking about Oreos. Oreos. And I'm sitting in the room and going, we're going through some very difficult times. Not sure where we're going. I paid this priest to come in, and he's talking about eating Oreos. And all I'm thinking is, have I lost my mind? But then he goes on and he says, whether you're a supervisor or you're an employee helping out a newer employee or showing somebody something that you know and you've learned, think of it this way. Say something positive. Hit them with the substance and end it with something positive. And I know that sounds so simple and so silly, and you've probably heard it from your parents. But what's crazy about it is that was 3 years ago. In December, I'm walking through the warehouse, and nobody knows I'm there. And I hear a manager starting to ramp up a voice on, I told you so, to an employee. And then all of a sudden, from 2 aisles over, I hear somebody yell out, Oreo! The manager stops, collects his thoughts, and does an incredible job developing the employee. So then, the next one was with Father Nathan. We said, coming out of this, what should we do? What should we do? He said, well, you're going to need core values. You're going to build this on your core values. So he encouraged us to get the employees and the leadership team together. It took us 6 months. Core values are what define your culture. So we go forward, and once a month, we have a quick meeting. We take 15 to 18 people off the production floor. We show them some production reports, but we have one topic. What can we do to improve the culture at your workstation and throughout the company? And you will be amazed. The ideas that we've gotten, have implemented, have had a huge financial impact on the company and didn't cost anything. My son, Logan, he runs both the production meeting and the core value meeting. Last year we got busy. Core value meeting got skipped. It will never happen again. And the idea is, if you have a wonderful production meeting, but your core values and your employees are not in sync with the culture, you have little chance of hitting full success. But if your culture's in sync and you have a bad production meeting, the employees will get you through. So many good things. I'm walking into a culture meeting, and I get a text from Father Nathan. Let the employees know I'm thinking and I'm praying for them. And he sends me a picture of him going through a door, a sign about this big. It says, "In God we trust." So I show it to our employees, and they grabbed it. He said, "Well, can we do that? Can we do that? Can we put it on our buildings?" And I say buildings because we've been so blessed that we actually opened up a second building on the south side of Archbold. So now if you come in from the east or you come in from the south, you have to pass one of our signs. It lights up really bright at night. "In God we trust." Okay. So, I was uptown and people walk up to me. There won't be anybody else within 15 feet. And they'll get up to me and they'll look over their shoulder to make sure nobody's listening. And then they'll whisper, "I love your sign." Why are they whispering? Because we've been beat down and we've been told, "You can't do that." By who? Why? Makes no sense. In our last session, which was last May with Father Nathan, the very last thing he did, he gave everybody a blank sheet of paper and said, "What do you like best about working at Archbold?" Not multiple choice. Everybody had to write it out. 74 of the 90 people wrote, "It's a family-run business that does everything based on their Christian values." Employees are starving for Christian leadership. Rodney had asked me, "What's the best thing about being owner of Archbold?" It's the people. And seeing each one of them grow, not only as workers, but in their faith. But then also how they're taking it into their homes and their families. I had a wife reach out and thank me. Say, "Dylan," not you, Dylan. Dylan, he's a better husband. In the last couple of years, he's a better father to our kids. And thank you. One employee in January says, "Pat, when you started this stuff, I thought I was going to have to quit. I was an atheist. But the only time I felt good about myself was when I was in this building." She told me a couple of weeks ago, she came to God about 1.5 years ago, and she gets closer every month. A couple of weeks ago, she said, "I'm going to be sending my son to a Catholic school in Bryan." It's incredible. So Catholic business principle number 3, 4 years ago, we're going to follow him. We bring on a young man named Austin, got Down syndrome. We thought we were doing him a favor. I cannot tell you how the positive impact that he has had on everybody at Archbold. You go into the lunchroom, the table's always full. It's sold out. No chance of getting close. The signs that this Christian culture that has just been going like wildfire now in the company is having an impact. 4 years ago, everybody familiar with those Toys for Tot boxes? They drop them off in November and then they pick them back up in December. And I go walking by 4 years ago, the night before it's going to get picked up, and the boxes are empty. Do you remember? So we go shopping that night and we get 3 to 4 bass carts of toys, and we filled up the boxes. Patty and I. We filled the boxes, but the company was empty. This year, I don't say a word. And the night before, I got to move things out of the aisle because they're tripping hazards because the boxes are over full. Ironically, when we shifted from performance reports and pressing our employees to creating a Christian culture, the financial statements took care of themselves. In 2020, we had about 50 employees and we shipped about 3,500 pieces of furniture a month. Thought that was a pretty good company. Last year, every month, with over 100 employees and about 200 Amish that work on our behalf, every month we shipped at least 12,000 pieces of furniture. So whether you're having it delivered to your home or you're picking it up at the store, in that 60 hours a week, there's a piece of Archbold furniture going into a home across the United States every minute. Culture determines success. Christianity is universal. We buy a lot of wood and wood components out of Vietnam. 4 of us went over there last year. We meet with the manufacturer. He's got about 250 employees. 70% of everything he makes comes to us. We go over and we meet about what can we do to improve the program. Now, this is all through a translator. He tells us at the end, I'm willing to open up more production time because everything you guys are doing are not only to help your business, but I see the intention is also to help mine. Those of you in supply chain management, you know how important reliable supply is. If you go to the other end of our business, the Amish community, we build the product, we send it over to the Amish community where they finish, paint, stain, what have you, customize it for us. 18 semi-loads a week go back and forth. It's a community that's very difficult to get connected with and get them to do something for you. But we work with about 12 companies now, probably 8 of them, 100% Archbold. We're over there for our review, and we have about 15 Amish owners or leaders of the company sitting around this big table. And they say, review. Before we start our meeting, the elder of the community says, Pat, would you lead us in prayer? Vietnam, Archbold, Amish community. We couldn't be more different in business philosophy, our way of life. But we had this incredible program as one because of the one thing that does bring us together. The Bible, our Christian faith. So many of you might be thinking, well, I can see you can do that in a furniture company in Archbold, or you can do it in a car dealership in Perrysburg, but I don't know if it's for my business. Christian culture is powerful in any business, any career. Many of you are familiar with the success of Central Catholic football and Coach Greg Dempsey. Greg and I we grew up a few blocks from each other, and I ran into him last year. And I was amazed when he started telling me about the success of Central's program and when it started. He built a Christian community in the program, a Christian culture. And yes, he's got great players, and he's got obviously a very creative playbook. But he attributes the success to whether it's 2-a-days practice or it's going to be game night. The players show up understanding their responsibilities to protect, support, and set each other up to succeed. Now, Central people, you're not getting a picture. You're not getting I am a product of the Oblates of St. Francis de Sales. You'll get a mention, no picture. The customers, can we talk to our customers about it? Oh, you can't. It's nuts. When you go to, whether you have a client, you have a patient, you have a buyer, business associate, the key to them paying you a lot of money is to build that relationship. I can't think of a better way to build a relationship than Christianity. Several of you are probably familiar with Patty's father, And this is the picture when they dedicated Savage Arena to him. He was probably one of the greatest life insurance salespeople of all time. Everything that man did was centered around his Catholic faith. He had prominent clients here in Northwest Ohio, the state of Ohio, the United States, around the world. I bet you every one of his clients knew he was a faith-filled Catholic. Keep your Christianity at the forefront, and you will soar above the competition. Some of you may be familiar with a gentleman by the name of Bob Timberlake. He's an icon. He's an artist of the outdoors. In 1990, he designed a line of furniture, became the #1 selling line of furniture. Some of you may have his furniture in your home, or maybe some of his artwork. About 2014-15, the manufacturer that he was working with, it was $1 billion sold, took it overseas. Greed. Profits. He canceled the contract because he was all about the American craftsman. He reached out to us about 1.5 years ago, and he gave us his story. And he said he wanted to take some of his best-selling pieces, modernize them, and relaunch them. So he reached out to retailers that had bought a lot of his furniture, and he told them his vision, and said, I need a manufacturer. My criteria: keep it domestic, family, faith-filled. And he said, your name kept coming up. The greatest compliment I've ever received in manufacturing. We launched the program last year. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. We often hear that, well, that's nice, but I work for the government. I work for a public company. I can't do that. Stop that. It's not up to them. It's up to you. Just ask our bishop. Anybody can be a servant leader at any time. But be prepared. Somebody comes up and, hey, Matt, what'd you do last night? Well, I started with adoration, and then we went to dinner. Adoration, what's that? It gives you an opportunity to talk about the Eucharist. We all eat at work, whether it be in your office or the cafeteria. Say a prayer. You're not weird. You're a great Christian. And I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time before somebody walks up to you and says, Matt, you're a praying man. My father's having open heart surgery next week. Could you say a prayer for him? During difficult times, people seek out true leaders. So in summary, surround yourself with great Christians. Culture is what determines success. And Christianity is universal. My family has greatly benefited from Catholic Business Network. Please go forward this morning with today's message. Do not let others hold you back. And together, let's get our faith back into the workplace. God bless.
Inspiring talk from Pat McNamara, and the crowd is on their feet.
And now you're hearing the standing ovation.
Yeah, standing.
That was absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. We've got a few minutes now, so if there are any questions that anyone would like to ask of Pat, would gladly have you hold the mic and ask those. And I will ask one to kick us off. So Pat, you talked about this process. Was there any time as you've gone along with this that you thought, boy, we need to shift gears. This didn't really work the way I thought. Or has it been pretty smooth all along? Would love to hear about that.
Absolutely not. It's almost like Peter, you get addicted. And you see the results being so good and the impact you're having on others. You can't do enough. And we just had our culture meeting yesterday, and it was like, give us more. Give us more. What can we do to make this better? We do have Father Nathan coming back on the 18th of March. We'll start it out with Mass again, and we're gonna. And the thing is to all the employees, what else can we do? And to him, what else can you bring us? So no, this is in an infant stage of never wavered. It's all excited about every day and doing more.
And the numbers speak to that as well. Amazing. Who else has a question?
Pat, you mentioned 2020 was a really tough period for you. In your role, what was your most challenging moment, and how did you respond? How did you and your family respond? And how much was, and I probably know the answer to this, but how did you incorporate God providing that strength, guidance, and wisdom moving forward?
I think the biggest challenge was we were sitting on the fence. I was my own obstacle. I wasn't willing to go all in. And so at that point when we made the decision to go all in days, I've never looked back. So the biggest challenge was that first step. Since that first step, nobody could change what we are doing.
Got another question here, I believe.
Did any of your customers or employees come to you and say, because of this new vision, because of your sign, in God we trust, we do not want to work with you?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They know they're relying on us to deliver quality product on a regular basis, and it gives almost like a seal that we're committed to our customers and we're committed to what we do. I have never had one customer say a word. I've had some incredible customers, whether it be Boston, Florida, California, have all commended what we do.
Anybody else with a question?
Back in 2020, I know one of the challenges you had, as we had, a lot of us had, is you couldn't find talent. There was all of a sudden there was just no talent to hire. And at the same time, I know a little bit about your story, but you were going through tremendous growth. And I guess to answer that question further, how did you find employees at that point in time?
Well, thankfully, we were good friends with the McCartneys and the Dylans. But our greatest resource, because temporary services had a very difficult time at that time too, our greatest resource was employees going home and telling their nephew, their sister, the employees that came from our employee, they became our biggest recruit. Going home and telling how great they felt about the direction of the company. So yeah, during that time, you couldn't get anybody. And think about it, we went from 50 to 100 during the worst time to hire employees. The employees became your salesperson.
Had tumultuous last 4 or 5 years in the political landscape where faith needs to address itself. Obviously, you and Pat have been very prudent and bold. How have you navigated that as a leader in the business atmosphere, addressing issue 1, for instance, and those sorts of things? I know you didn't necessarily bring up, but give advice and guidance. How do you remain relevant in that realm and navigate through it?
With issue 1, number 1, I think we had 7 or 8 signs out in front of the building. Every employee got a letter on what Patty and I felt. Vigilant is what I would say. And I know there were atheists. I know there were atheists. We didn't change them and flip a switch and change them day one. We led by example. And for us, it doesn't matter who comes through that door. Everything I've said is what we expect of you inside the building. And once we have them inside the building, we can subtly show them our Christian way of leadership that will have a huge influence on them. So we just stay out of it. We just stay laser focused on who we are, what we stand for. I told the story that You go down Coder Road, and there is our sign, right? Our pro-life sign. I've had 3 or 4 people say, "Where do you live?" I say, "Coder Road." He said, "Well, where do you live in relation to that family that has that sign?" You know, stand for something. Stand for something.
We probably got time for one more question if anybody has one. That said, Pat, just amazing this morning. We really appreciate you and Patty and the great job you do with your business and the great job you do as Christian servant leaders. So thank you so much for this.
All right, thank you.